We're going to talk about ICE, which is integrating evidence within your writing. ICE stands for Introduce, Cite, and Explain. It's a mnemonic. So this is how we cite sources. First, we introduce your quotation or your evidence. So you need your readers to know where your evidence came from. And so we write information about that like source. So we need our writer's name, the text type, the text title. And so you're showing the credibility of your evidence. You're showing the background of your evidence, where you got it from, and how you're going to use it. So introduce your evidence to your reader. If you don't introduce your evidence to your reader, we don't have any sort of background of where this quote came from, why you're using it, what's the credibility of it. So we help we use signal phrases to help introduce your source and your credible information. So introduce is your I, cite is your C. So it means that you have the original quote from your source. We put quotation marks around it. It's quoted directly from your source, and they know that it's not your words, it's someone else's words. So I could be looking at the source, right? So your book or your article, your poem, your image, I could look at the actual original source that you introduced to me, and I could see that same content in that source. So you're citing it to give your writing some credibility and to add meaning and depth to the point that you're trying to make. So for example, here's a direct quote with quotation marks around it, and I can see the page number from which it derived from that source that you already told me about when you introduced it. This is really, really key to the integration of your evidence, which is to explain that evidence. Why did you include it? What does it mean? How does it connect to your ideas? So tell me, explain it. Tell me the connection. Why is this quote important? What does it contribute to your main idea? How does it relate to your thesis? And we can explain how it might relate to our other pieces of evidence. So as you're quoting and integrating those sites or those sources into your writing, remember ICE. Introduce where it came from, cite it as it appears in that source, and then explain to me the connection that it has. As you become a more advanced writer, you can change up how the ICE pieces are structured. Maybe you want to have an explanation before you cite it, and then you give me the source information or you introduce it. As you start integrating evidence and we learn how to do these skills, you can start with the basic format of ICE. Let's look at some examples.